Good afternoon. This is Dr. Bill Wyatt again, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit about palatal expansion without the sutural separation today. I'm with the American Orthodontic Society, and I'm a general dentist, and this society is really for general and pediatric dentist. And so I'm going to talk to you about a rather strange case that we had. This palatal expansion, but we did not have the suture separate on us. The young man that I was working with was about 30, he was in his 30s, and we put the spring in the front on the central teeth to help separate there. That's where we had gotten palatal separation from teenagers. That's where they thought that's as far as it would separate, and we had separated people in their 30s and a few in their 40s earlier on. So we were going to try to separate this fellow's palate. He really needed it, as you'll see shortly here. But had one little problem here. This guy weighed about 312 pounds. He was a huge fellow, and we could not separate his palate. So I'm going to go ahead and get started here and kind of show you what it's like. Just the nicest fellow in the world, though. Just go right through everything. He didn't complain about any of this. The pressure that we were putting on his palate. Just a real gracious fellow. It had this class 3 malocclusion. I'm going to get in here and we'll show you what it's like. His upper teeth just went inside his lower teeth, completely inside. And just put pictures of his models up here. You can see where his lower teeth just completely dropped inside. I mean, the upper teeth dropped inside the lower teeth down here, and we had to spread this palate out to where the upper teeth met out on the outside of the lower teeth. Now that took a tremendous amount of palatal expansion to do that, and we never got the suture to separate. And I took picture after picture that I'll show you. I just put it in top of his tongue and shot down through his nose and got the picture of that, and it just never would separate. It's the dirtiest thing. And we put pressure on him, and he never complained one bit about this. Usually palatal separation, people gripe about the pressure they're getting. That's one of the few things. And once the suture separates, they quit fussing about it. Anyway, this is the side of his model, and the other side looked pretty much the same. Now, in taking the starting pictures of his mouth, they didn't have him close his teeth all the way together, but when he bit together like that, then it was like this. I mean, the thing was biting down just like that, completely closed up. And so these pictures that you'll see here, they didn't have him close together. I guess whoever was taking the pictures didn't really realize what we wanted there exactly. But you can see how narrow the palate is in here, and we spread this thing out to where the teeth actually went on the outside of the lower teeth up here. And it took some really cranking to get this out there. The lower was even some of the crowding in the lower up here, even though the upper teeth were fitting inside that right there. Now, not a whole lot of problem there. And here is the Panorex on him, the starting Panorex. And I had originally wanted to actually do this by taking out the 6-year molars in here, but I was retiring and leaving, and they didn't want to tackle taking out the 6-year molars without me there, so they decided to do the bicuspids. And it worked out with the bicuspids, but I think his molars, his wisdom teeth are still impacted back here. Now, he was missing this tooth up here. We could have it close up easy enough, and you could either sacrifice one of these and close this if you wanted to. I don't think we did anything with that. So, anyway, this is where this was 8, 9, 8, and 11 was when we started. Now we bracketed this and we put this spring pressure. We put a palatal separator in, see back here. And then we put this spring pressure, this packed open coil spring in between the centrals as tight as we could get it. We put the little blocks up here, bonded them on so you got it up there where it could separate, where we could separate it, and put just a flexible wire in there to kind of level this thing. It'll be used as another leveling arch later on. Okay, that's just opened up there with these, I think that's a speed bracket in there. I did not care for those brackets really. And now here we go. That's the end with this. Now these are bands of bicuspids and molars back here that we're going to be pushing on with all this force. And here the separator is, and you can really get some idea of the narrowness of this upper arch, and the lower teeth fit on the outside of that. And we're going to go apart. This is a separator. This is the biggest one we could get. We put in there, and we open that thing up till it's about this wide, something like that. And the suture never did separate. So we'll continue. Oh man, this is the separator. We had it bonded in. It was cemented down solid. Excuse me. And this was just really solid. And when we went out with it, these teeth stayed pretty well parallel as they went out this way. Now, excuse me. Now, this was 9, 15, 11, and here the spring is on there, but we never got it apart. I'm gonna run through it pretty quick here. Now that's things closed up. We were starting out. We separated it. We opened that thing a quarter turn every day there, and the upper centrals they came apart a little bit, but the suture did not. So you can see how the teeth separated a little, and then after I wasn't going to be there, they extracted the bicuspids down here on the bottom. And as we widened this thing out, we got them over there. We were able to start bringing these lower anterior teeth back underneath there. Now, I wasn't around for the whole case, but I would come and go on the weekends and things, and on a few days there I would come in to see him. Now here we go again. Now this is as far as the separator would go when we took it off the bicuspids in this area and left the wire back here to hold the molars out. And now we'll come in here and we're going to put a big daddy arch in there to kind of get some arch form to it, to bring these teeth back in line, and also to get a little additional expansion out of it. Now that's taken right after the teeth were removed on that, and you can see we're starting now to bring these teeth back into the space underneath there. His tongue is pushing on that. This is a big guy. I tell you, he is really a nice guy, but he had one palate that we could not separate. We've separated people in their early 40s. That's about as far as we've ever been able to do it. Just a real nice guy. Alright, there he is. And he's in a rectangular wire, and we've got him kind of lined up pretty good now. And the upper is getting much broader, it's spreading out good. And we'll get it expanded a little bit more when we put this we call it the big daddy. It's about an 04 wire on top of that. And there's the separator as far as it would go. Now, just took a lot of pictures of him. Now here is the large wire. I don't think that's really an 04 wire. It looks more like a 036 or something, giving some arch form to it. That's in addition to the regular arch wire that's underneath that. That's just on piggyback laid out on there. And that allowed us to get some nice arch form to the upper arch. And it's going over the lower arch now. And that's bringing it over. That's embodying material stuff we got on there. I think that's an impression that had a little alginate on there. And this is the big daddy arch. We put a special arrow on there, drawing it up to that. And it can also expand it. And we can have a wire, rectangular wire, there with some buckle root torque to keep the roots out like we want them to. And we cut the bands off of these molars and just left them in there. And so here it is expanded out there. Now we'll continue to bring this back in and correct the class 3 problem by reducing the anterior portion, the lower anterior portion back. And here's the other model pictures we'll show you. And there he is for those. The upper is hitting inside the lower. Just sliding right down inside that. And this is the lower now. And this is his upper arch now. If you can imagine, this arch is big enough now to go over this. And we actually stretched this. I do believe that we had to have gotten it that big. The bone structure had to stretch. I don't think the balls leveled it out would have given you that much room. And it looks like on these x-rays I'm going to show you that it got the bone was thinner for a little and then it thickened back up again. But anyway, it's out over. That's a pretty picture there. Here it is on the side. And we're pulling those other teeth back into place. Now this is the upper after we took the appliance off and everything. And that's the lower. We've still got its own part of it. And this is 4/3/15. That's a bad picture. There's several bad pictures in here, but anyway, there, the upper is on top of it. And so when he closes together, they're down on top. And so we were able to go in and correct the class 3 problem by taking out the first bicuspids in here. And we got a wire that fits in there and it stays under. You see those little pads right there, it stays under that, and that keeps it in place to hold it, make sure that stays. Now as his tongue tries harder, it may push both upper and lower out, but you'll have to hold it there tight to do this. So here he is, and there he is with his upper and lower retainers in his mouth now. Now I'm going to show you these x-rays. This was the first x-ray that we took down through the top of the, I just put the film in the mouth and shot right down through it so I could catch the suture right in this area. And you can see the bone structure here where this was narrow. Now the next x-ray I'm going to show you, I took some more in between this, but the next one is how wide we separate that. This wide now. And we had the spring pressure out here in between the centrals. But the centrals only separated about that far, but the suture never went apart. But look how rare the bone structure is in here. So I do think that this bone structure stretched. So now I don't have any absolute fact of that, but how it got that big without stretching, I do not know. So I think actually we did stretch the palate on this young man, and I've expanded arches of many older people, and we have not separated their sutures either. I mean, these are 40, 50, 60. We had one guy there, 80. I think he was in his 80s when we expanded his arch. And, of course, it didn't separate the suture, but we expanded the arch anyway. And here's another picture of it. Now, this is later on down the line. You can see when it was taken right down here. This is before his office and everything. And I have a whole stack of these pictures if anybody wants to go check them out. I've got an envelope with all these separation pictures, about 11 or 12 of them, something like that. Okay, I'm going to run through all of these. You see how wide it is. I have the date, so this is number 9, that's 10. Now, later on down the line, it was separated. This looks darker in here, but nothing separated. The teeth, we put them back together and held them together. And there's the Panorex that we took when we took the first bicuspids out and elieve. I really wanted to set this tooth up right here. I just want things I would like to have done. And I know I could do it. You just put that little deal on the side of that tube. You can pick that tube right up, you see. But anyway, that's water under the bridge. He's missing this one up here. He's got some bad ones on this side over here too. But anyway, it's together now. Well, this was the starting Panorex. I don't have a finished Panorex. And this is the final photograph of the guy. Other than this is his teeth after we finished. It looks nice, and he's as proud of this as he can be. And we're proud of him. He went through all that pressure and I don't remember him ever complaining about it at all. So really, that's his teeth that were inside there, and that's what you're able to do. And I think many of you people could do this out here, even though you don't get the suture separated in here. You can expand the maxilla to fit over the mandible, and this was a tremendous amount of expansion in here, and it was, to me, it was just stretching that bone structure, and on both sides it's together like that, and it really made a contribution to this young man's life. And that's where we took out the teeth right in here. The space left in there wasn't perfect. And that's the end of it. So thank you for watching, and this is just an idea that we might pass out. I have expanded palates on many, and I've got an older person in here on our videos where we spread his palate out too. Not anything like as much as we did here, but we spread it out quite a bit. And so I don't claim it was stretching that, but this one I don't see how on earth it got wide enough to go from in here to out here without that palate stretching. I don't think that the vault, if we level that thing out completely, would have given us that much room. So this bone structure must have stretched some to make it over there. I don't know if that's not been done before, but I've not read anything about it. Anyway, we did it, and the guy's happy, and I've seen him since then, and everything's going along real good. Of course, he's a good-natured fellow anyway, thank goodness. I don't think we'd have made it through this case. So I'm going to stop now and close this.